Hello, I know it's been a hot minute, but I have been tending to life's unexpectedness. But I am back, and today I want to talk about why small businesses fail. Did you know that according to a recent StatsCan study, at least half of new companies in Canada go out of business before their third anniversary, and only 1/5 of them survive a decade? I've heard this so much that if you can make it to your third year, you might have a chance. So today I want to give you some ways to stay in that 1/5 group because we're all trying to make it, right? We want that long-term success. Welcome back to Entrepreneur Unlimited. I am your host and fellow entrepreneur, Tani Heipel. I'm here to guide you through the ups and downs of building a meaningful business. And in today's episode, we're diving into the topic of hard and soft skills in entrepreneurship. So if you've ever wondered about what skills you should focus on to grow your business, this one is for you. Thank you to everyone who answered my story on Instagram about what kind of topics you're interested in me talking about and what I should talk about next. Skills and how to start a business and what you need to know to start a business. Specifically, hard and soft skills came up as well. Shout out LMAC. So I thought this was a really timely and necessary episode. So we hear about skills all the time, but what does it really mean to have the right skills for entrepreneurship? That is the question. So today I'm going to break down the difference between what hard skills are, what soft skills are, how they both contribute to your success, and really how you can identify which ones you already have and what steps to take if you're lacking on the other side, right? So if you're really strong with your soft skills, how can you accumulate or tap into those hard skills and vice versa? Let's start with hard skills. Hard skills are the technical, measurable abilities that often require some sort of training or experience. I want you to think of them like the building blocks of your business operations. You can't run a company without knowing how to develop a brand for your company, right? You need to develop some sort of branding that people will recognize and they'll grow to trust and stay loyal to. You also need to develop some understanding of how to run the numbers and budget and how to manage day-to-day operations. If you aren't good at one or all of those skills, start with learning the basics to get you going. Once you're a bit more established, you can hire someone to take over, or you can take some courses to enhance your skills. But knowing the basics of branding and budgeting and day-to-day operations is a really great place to get started. When we're talking about budgeting, that financial management, and I talked about this in my last episode, understanding bookkeeping, budgeting your expenses, taxes, payroll if you have employees, that's all going to get you started on a good path with your financial success. If you don't already have a bookkeeper and accountant in place, that's okay. It takes some time to gain those resources to hire out, but I would suggest taking some sort of course or looking at resources to get you set up so that you're not in the weeds when business starts to boom. You also want to know some things about marketing, right? How to create content, maybe how to run some social media ads, understanding at least what SEO means, even if you're not going to focus on SEO or it's completely a foreign concept to you. Just learning the basics of it is going to help you when you set up a basic website or you start creating some landing pages. So if you're selling a product or service, getting familiar with basic marketing strategies is going to help you get in front of the right people. I would also get familiar with email marketing so that you can start to build that active community. Because if you're putting all that time and effort into reaching people, you want to stay connected with them, right? You want them to stay in your community, and email marketing is going to help you with that. A free resource that could get you started is something like MailChimp. So if you're not familiar, do a quick search, learn the basics. Part of hard skills is also understanding industry-specific tools. Even if you don't know everything, just learning the basics is going to get you off on a good foot. If you're looking to create content and you don't really know where to start, a design software like Canva is a great resource. It has a lot of free options. It's got templates you can work from. It's very drag and drop. So you don't need to become a professional graphic designer to start getting content out there. If you want to understand how to set up a podcast, you're going to look into podcasting apps. Choose a platform that's right for you. I have chosen Spotify, right? So you could do Spotify, you could do Apple Podcasts, whatever works for you. Learn the basics and get set up. And the same goes for YouTube, right? If you want to start growing your audience, then you're going to have to learn how to start a YouTube channel and get it launched. If you're not super tech savvy, learning a few apps to get started is easy if you know where to look. And honestly, just doing a quick Google search or a YouTube search is a great starting point. Also, reach out to people in your industry and ask them what they did. A lot of good entrepreneurs and creatives will be willing to share. And if you want to go further, once you have the resources, you can hire someone to do it for you. As I mentioned, hard skills are often learned through courses, certifications, or having real world experience, but they're essential to keeping the business side of things running smoothly. And before I move on to soft skills, I want to tell you about a free webinar that I'm running on how to build an authentic feel-good business. I talk about why authenticity is so much more than a buzzword, help you craft your story and position yourself as a leader in your field, and I give actionable steps that you can take right now to grow a better business that feels good to you. And this includes some of those hard and soft skills. So head to tawnyheipel.com to save a spot in one of the upcoming live sessions. All right, now let's talk about soft skills. Unlike hard skills, soft skills are the interpersonal, emotional, and behavioral skills that shape how you interact with others and how you approach challenges. Some examples of soft skills are things like communication, so the ability to express your ideas clearly. You want to be able to listen, actively listen, and engage with your team, customers, clients, people who you're networking with. You have to be adaptable. In entrepreneurship, things rarely, if ever, go as planned, and being flexible and adjusting to new circumstances is crucial for long-term success. You need to have emotional intelligence. Understanding your emotions and the emotions of others helps you lead teams, negotiate better deals, and handle really stressful situations calmly. A friend recommended a book to me years ago called Emotional Intelligence 2.0, and I highly recommend it myself, not only for being better at business, but for building better relationships, period. I tried to get my ex to read this book, and let's just say that was really the beginning of the end. Maybe a story for another time. And I'm not profiting off this by any means, but I will link it in the show notes if you're interested. I like to have a go-to list of books that I share and that have helped me get to where I am. So I'm happy to share. But emotional intelligence is key to so many areas in life. You learn what to take personally, what not to take personally, how to let things roll off your back. I know for myself, when I get negative feedback or a negative review, it's really hard not to take it personally, right? You're like, oh, they hate me as a person, but it's not you. It's just that we're so passionate about what we do that if we get bad feedback, we take it to heart. Having emotional intelligence allows you to compartmentalize, understanding that not everything is a personal attack, and it's okay that people don't like what you do. I talk about this in my webinar, but not everybody is your person. Not everybody is going to resonate with you. Not everyone is going to like what you do, and you need to be okay with that. That's a part of business. So upping that emotional intelligence is going to help you substantially in business. Soft skills are essential for any stage of creative pursuits because you need to be quick on your feet and you need to learn how to spot a problem before it turns into a disaster. You can't wait for things to explode. You need to see it before it gets to that point. And if you can't see beyond the problems, once they happen, you're going to have a really hard time continuing when things get hard. And they will get hard. That's business. So you need to be able to see beyond the problems and get back on track. You also need to be a people person, right? Business is really about people. If you don't like people, then you need to get someone else to manage customer relations or your team, because people, your customers and your staff, if you have employees, are really the backbone of your company. If no one buys your products or services, you don't have anything. So if you yourself are not a people person, then figure out how to supplement that with someone who is, okay? That might be the first big expense that you have, is hiring someone to handle customer relations for you. Self-awareness and knowing when to take advice, when to take feedback, and also knowing your strengths is a huge part of your soft skills. How you time manage, your critical thinking skills, how you multitask, your networking skills, your empathy, seeing the big picture. These are all skills that contribute to making you a better leader. Soft skills are more about how you do things than what you do. They shape your leadership style, your business relationships, and even your ability to bounce back from failure. So that's what I want you to think about when you're thinking about soft skills. How else do you tell the difference between hard and soft skills? Think about it this way. Hard skills are about what you know or you can do, right? They're very task-oriented. And soft skills are about how you interact with the world around you. So they're people and mindset-oriented. I want you to take a moment to think about your own skill set, what's already in your toolbox. Are you great at managing numbers, but maybe you need to work on your emotional intelligence? Go get that book. Or maybe you're an excellent communicator, but you could use more technical training in marketing, right? I hear a lot of small business owners facing that exact issue. But once you understand which skills you have, it's easier to know where to invest time in growth, okay? I know a lot of creatives have a hard time with content creation. When I started out as a freelancer, I knew how to create content because that's my background, but I didn't have the time to do it and also put my efforts into getting clients, right? So I would contract content creation out. I would hire short-term contracts to create what I had in mind. We'd go back and forth a few iterations. I would then use that as a template to post on my online platforms. And then I would end the contract and then maybe start it up again when I needed it again. But if you're stuck with content creation, you can send me a message on Instagram at Tanya Unlimited and I'll share a free content template because I know how hard it is just to even get started. But if you have the money, then hiring someone is your best bet. And you can go to your community, your network, and ask who out there is looking for a contractor to do some freelance work, or you could use an app like Fiverr. So now that we know a little bit of a difference between what hard skills are and soft skills are, and maybe you have a better understanding of what you need to work on, one of the top 3 reasons businesses fail is because they lack relevant experience and skills. Doing this work is essential. It's more than interesting. It's actually essential for building a better business. If you're just winging it and not seeing the growth that you're after, so if you're starting to get stagnant because you're like, I'm putting all this time and energy and passion into building my creative venture, you're maybe pumping out content, but you're lacking the technical skills to get that content in front of people, then doing this self-work is going to help you fill in those gaps. I promise that your venture will be better for it. Okay? Don't just keep putting stuff out there and hoping for the best. There needs to be some sort of strategy to get you growing. Another reason businesses fail that I talked about in my last episode, if you haven't taken a listen, please go back and review because poor money management is a huge factor in failing businesses. So get your money matters in check. Get the books organized so that when you do grow and you start to see cash flow, you won't get stuck trying to sort it all out or owing thousands in taxes that you're not prepared for. Of course, knowing your audience and understanding their wants and needs and filling in those gaps of what they don't have, what they're looking for, doing that research to understand your target audience and where best to communicate with them is what's going to keep you growing and keep you above water. Don't post on YouTube if your audience isn't on YouTube. Don't try to grow your audience on Instagram if your audience isn't on Instagram or Facebook or wherever, right? You need to understand who you're talking to and where they hang out. If you keep trying to pump out content somewhere where your audience doesn't spend time, then you're putting a lot of your own time and energy into something that is not going to work out. So how do you decide which skills you want to work on next? Okay, first, identify where your strengths lie. Are your hard skills strong, but you struggle with building relationships or leading a team? Or do you have great people skills, but need to dive deeper into financial management or marketing? Once you answer those questions, then you can start to fill in the gaps. okay? But understanding yourself and where you're at right now is going to help you determine the next steps to take. Next, you want to prioritize the areas that will have the biggest impact on your business right now. So if you're in a growth phase, mastering new marketing strategies might be more important than refining your communication. If you've just launched a product or a service and you've started to get feedback, you've started to grow your email list, you've started to get lots of engagement on your content, then you're doing pretty good at communication, right? So now we need to work on some marketing strategies to keep that community warm and nurtured. And then if you're leading a team, sharpening your emotional intelligence could be the key to building a supportive and motivated workplace and workplace culture. You've got all these hard skills working alongside each other, but maybe your morale is down and you want to build a better team or you want to help your team grow, then sharpening up on your emotional intelligence and soft skills is going to increase your workflow and interpersonal connections. So remember that entrepreneurship is all about balance. Hard and soft skills are both equally essential. Sometimes one will take over for the other in a moment where it's needed, but together they help you build not just a business, but that legacy that I've talked about that's sustainable and fulfilling. Like, what is it that you want to leave behind? And using both hard and soft skills is going to help you solidify that. So keep growing, keep learning. Don't be afraid to invest in yourself. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Reach out to your network. Use Google. Use YouTube to your advantage. There are a lot of free resources out there to at least just get you started. If you're looking for some sort of app or software that's going to make your business more efficient, do your research, do your comparables, right? See what's going to work for you. Reach out to customer support. Before you dump a whole bunch of money into something, make sure that it's going to work for you first. But yeah, use those resources to determine what tools realistically afford, not just monetarily, but something that you can afford to put your time and energy into. I hope that helps. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of Entrepreneur Unlimited. And don't forget to visit TawnyHeipel.com to sign up for that free webinar I was talking about, where I'll help you work on these skills and get to the next level. Until then, stay tuned and stay connected.